In this episode, we just pick up where we left off, speaking with my friend and client, Damascene. Thanks for listening. Hope you enjoy.
Now I had nothing to do with the banks because during all these times that I went to asking for commercial loan, they were asking a lot of stuff that a startup can never be able to afford. Then I also saw that they were looking real assets to collateralize in order to get you that loan. So I was like, should we assume that no one can be successful in America because of all these regulations that are surround us? I was like, I'm going to keep digging until I find a solution. Yeah. I kept learning. I bought many books at home. Then I came up to that book, Becoming Your Own Banker.
Becoming Your Own Banker. Well, how did you come up with that? I mean, did you just...
I discovered it.
How?
I went to Amazon to buy another book.
Okay.
Just like I always do, because I will buy a book, I will read it, and then it will take me to another book.
Sure.
And then, but this book, when I saw the title of it, it was like, this book, there may be something unique about it.
Out of the banking system, missing the financial piece.
Yeah, see, I was trying to connect.
Yeah.
If these other corporations are in the position to loan me $150,000, $200,000, and they are in the position to loan us money to buy houses, now we are getting debt. But how do they do it in a way that they don't have to live in debt for the rest of their lives? Yeah. That was the thing that was I wasn't connecting. And then finally, I was like, I'm going to keep reading as many books that I can buy, get my hands to. Then I came to that book.
I love that.
Yeah, so I bought the book. I took it home. I began to read it. I tell you, it blew my mind. To this day, I've read that book, I can't even count, about 60, 70 times.
Wow.
Yeah. So I am a
60 to 70 times.
Yeah, because on every page that you are reading, you discover things that you never thought possible. Think about capitalization. What is capitalization? So I was saving at the same time, but the word capitalization was in my vocabulary.
Right.
Yeah, it's not how I was taught. I was taught to go to school, get good grades, and then once I graduate, I can find a good paying job.
Right.
But went through all of that, but I can't find a good paying job to make a living.
Yeah.
So I discovered that whatever we were taught is not reliable.
Right. And then going through all of that experience, I mean, Nelson, and this is caught more than taught.
Absolutely.
And I can't imagine your experiences with trucking and all the previous experience, and then getting to equipment financing in this book.
Oh,
I mean, that surely had to blow your mind again.
It did. I was reading the book from every single page that I was reading. He would talk about the problem. Like he comes to how you will finance different methods of financing, how people go about financing the car.
Yeah.
I was like, now, the first three method is the left-hand side of where people need to be.
Yep.
So basically, I discovered because remember, as I was going through all these struggles to not go bankrupt, I realized that something was wrong, but I couldn't connect what was wrong. But when I wrote that book, I was like, I'm operating on the left-hand side.
Yep.
Now, let me look. Then he presented the 5 options on ways people go about financing cars. I discovered myself. Every time I need a car, I will go to the bank. I was like, I'm on the left-hand side of where it needs to be. Mm-hmm. So then I also realized this is the reason that we struggle to make a living, because every penny that we are making, we are blowing the money away, but it never returns. And then because our need, here's the other thing about Nelson said. When I wrote, he said, the first principle that must be understood is that you finance everything that you buy.
Everything.
Everything. Right. That blew my mind. I was like, oh, I was financing all these things, but I didn't think that I was doing it.
Right.
And I realized that I was doing it the wrong way. So I wanted to do it right. Then it comes to the right side where he begins to talk about capitalization, the CD method and the IBC method. I was like, what's this IBC thing? And then now he was showing how you will run out of money using the CD method. She was capitalizing, but she will run out of money in 5 years, I think.
In retirement.
In retirement. Yeah. And then I saw that at the same time she was using someone else's bank. So Nelson will tell you, instead of using someone else's bank, use this dividend paying whole life insurance to finance those things that you already financing anywhere. I was like, wow. I was like, how come no one is doing this? So I was like, okay, now, next time I want to buy a car, I realized I need to build that banking system to the point where I'll never be able to go to the banks again.
And the learning continues.
The learning continued. So I kept reading. Then he comes to the grocery store.
Yep.
The grocery store was another shocking experience there because he talks about how to run the grocery store example. Then he talks about velocity. They have to turn the inventory 17 times. Then I was like, that means whenever you buy that can, you also need to do what? You need to replace it from the inventory.
Right.
So he says, if you flip that 17 times, you can retire early. I was like, And then I applied that concept of adding that velocity to my business. And then at the same time, while I was trying to manage my line of credit with Wells Fargo, I was doing the same thing because I did not want them to keep decreasing my line of credit since I had this relying on it to keep finance in case I need new tires, brakes, or those things that the trucks need. I realized I ended up moving all my money from the checking account and from my savings account all the way to the line of credit to prevent it from my score going reduced.
All right.
So whenever I need money, I will go to that line of credit, borrow from it, and then pay back on a monthly basis.
Well, you were banking anyway.
I was banking anyway.
And we're all banking.
Yeah.
And you're literally financing in the trucking industry.
Yeah.
I love that.
So the thing that was surprised me, it was that I realized this line of credit, of course, I was using for all this time, putting money in, money out to finance all those things. But I was doing it in someone else's bank.
Right.
So Nelson said, instead of doing that, the banking function should be held at you and me level. I was like, wow. That's how I was attracted to the concept. And then I was like, okay, I'm going to keep reading and see where it ends. Because the moment you begin to read that book with an open mind, the first thing that it does, it picks up your imagination. Yeah. That's what it did to me. So I kept reading, and then I ended up coming to the equipment financing. He clearly shows how 40,000 in 4 years can put you in a position to be able to finance that semi-truck without using the dealer. I was like, goodbye, bankers. I'm going to do whatever it takes to build this banking function to the point where I never have anything to do with the banks. that was another lesson. Now the question was, how do I get started? Right. Who's going to help me with this? I saw his phone number there. Then I went to call him. And I thought, but before I call him, I was like, how will I share this with my wife? I told my wife, you know what? I think I just found a solution for all of these times that we were struggling to losing our homes, not being able to make a living in a way that is reasonable. I think I just found a solution in this book. She asked me, what is it? And I said, the best way to explain it to you, you're going to have to read the book. There's no way I can best explain it, right, only if you can learn from the book. But at the same time, I don't know if it will take you to having to go through the struggles that I went through, but to pick up your imagination. But it doesn't have to be. What you have to do is think of like, if you are not growing in your knowledge or your wisdom, you are dying. So think of it, education is an ongoing thing. Yeah. So, and then my wife, I said, the best way that I can do, because remember, we are immigrants, English is our second language, we both came as adults, so we'll never be able to fully 100% speak the English language because it's our second language. But we'll be able to speak maybe 60, 70% of it. But we have to focus on keep learning. So I said, the best thing we can do is to set up a family meeting so we can be studying this book going forward. It took me another 3 months. So I was reading the book, trying to explain it a little bit. I will share with her. The thing that picked up her imagination was there is another chapter there where he shows this person was capitalizing the system for 7 years using $5,000 per year. After 7 years, there is, I think, 41,000 there. And then during this time, after 7 years, you will be able to finance all the cars that you will need. He started by showing the cars since it's the most commonly thing that we use on a daily basis. So then you read the book all the way when you hit age 65, he shows how you will be withdrawing income using your own system, but at the same time, you are age 85, and then you die, then you leave $1.3 million to your beneficiaries. My wife was like, really? She said, let's go. And then I said, go where? I don't know where to go. But it seems like this book, the best thing we can do is to make sure we can study the author of the book fun until we can either turn to him or maybe find someone associated with him. If we can find them, they will be able to help us. And then I saw the website there where he shows about infinitebanking.org. Yep. I went to the website. Then I saw how the organization has been growing all this time from 2013 when the NNI was formed. Then I was like, this is about 10 years into it. So I began to explore. And then as I was exploring, I saw, because he's the other thing, I am a truck driver. I run from Midwest, like Chicago, all the way south to the border. And then since I had been doing this for years, I realized it is Texas and mostly Midwest and the northern states, it's like it is where the major business is running. So, and then I said, whoever that I'm going to go with have to reside in this area. But I was like, only if I cannot come to Nelson. And then as I clicked on the website, I was searching in Texas, and I was searching in Iowa, and I also was searching in Chicago. And then now I already knew that Nelson exists. I already knew his mission, and I already saw that he has changed millions and millions of lives. And the book has gone to over 31 countries outside of United States. I was like, yeah, there is a huge organization here that is changing people's lives.
Yeah.
So I think now it's my turn. And then I attempted to call, and then I was like, before I call, why not just first discover who else is there? And then I came to your website. The website kind of connected me to the Infinite Banking with Life podcast, and then I explored it. Then I discovered that you were one of the very few students that were mentored by him. Then I was like, you're the best.
And then I'm in Texas.
And then you are in
I'm
Texas.
up in the Highway 35 corridor.
And then you were in Texas. And then I was like, since he is the one that I can clearly see, and we are the seminars, then I began to learn from your videos. Then I heard one of the videos you said that Nelson passed away 2 years ago. I was like, oh my God, he did? Then I also experienced that whenever good people, every time I discover good people, before I know it, they're gone. I was like, God, please, you should try to give them more life to live so that
Amen.
so that they can at least impact more people.
Yeah.
And then I began to before I get involved, I'm going to first study who Nelson was. Then I realized he was a Christian, true Christian, from age 9. And then I also saw how he was struggling with that 500 that he owed to the banks, and one of his partners went bankrupt. And then I said, if he did not want to go bankrupt because of his Christianity, he never wanted to owe anyone, because actually it's not only that debt, it kind of causes you to live an happy life.
Yep.
But he also developed a concept that every human being can use and be free and still prosper. And then as I was learning from all those YouTube videos, I realized that Nelson has changed millions of lives. Since he discovered the concept in the 1980s, then I will relate that this is 40 years ago. It's not so long. Yes, it is, but it's reasonable. Then I was like, so how come no one is doing it?
Right.
Yeah. And then I said, I'm going to take a leap first. And then now that he passed away, I was like, I'm going to find one of the very few students that he mentored. Then I'm going to go with them. That's how I discovered you.
Yep.
Then I began to see how you finance your first pickup truck on the videos.
I'm still driving that truck, by the way.
Yeah, I mean.
And I love it. So.
Yes. I was like, if this is true stuff, then I was like, yeah, I'm going to do this. By the grace of God, I will be able to take the banking function under my control. From that point on, since I discovered the concept, I discovered your support. I tell you, it took me 5 months to pay off $45,000 debt that I owed to run my business. 5 months. Now I have the title to my trader. I was on hook for 5 years to paying all those interests to the bankers with the risk of losing, because in the economy there is the ups and there is the downs.
Sure.
I've been in both ends of the spectrum. So at the same time I was going through all those struggles, the trucking industry, things went bad, like during the Trump presidency. It caused the freight market to decline. So then I realized there was a loss of revenue as well. Then I saw, you have to find a balance in between, where whenever the market is low, you can still control the business. So all this time, I saw that I don't have to use bankers to run my business and be successful. But I saw that I can discipline myself, capitalize the system, now that I have implemented, using over and over and over.
Let's share, as much as you wish of what you've done, because, I think earlier, I don't know if it was before we turned the cameras on or not, but, you actually, so you discovered it, through the books and then to the Nelson Nash website, and then listening to, my videos and on the YouTube channel. And then I appreciate you mentioning the support, because there's an incredible team here that we do provide support.
Yeah.
But you got your first policy in September of last year.
Yeah, 6 months ago. Basically.
All right, 6 months ago. So what have you done, young man, since?
It is amazing what I have done. It is only 5 months as we speak since I requested my first policy loan. It was so easy to require. They did not ask for things like a collateral thing, except putting the death benefit as a collateral.
Well, the cash value is the collateral.
The cash value is the collateral. I was like, they don't need anything else. There's no social security. There is no...
Well, they already have that.
They already have it. Yeah. And there is no W-2 incomes. It is really so easy to request that policy loan. So I requested that policy loan. It took me 3 days. The money was landing in my bank account. And then I was like, wow.
Let me just say, this is April. They're running a little longer on policy loans right now across the industry. But and two, let me say that, I get to talk to clients every week, on the phone, email, and different things. And that reminds me of an email I received, I think it was last week, a young man. He said, James, not verbatim, but this is in essence what he said, because it was a longer email. There was more content than just this, but he did say in the email, look, I've been capitalizing the system for several years now. I haven't really needed to do a loan. So I just did my first loan. I went and did it online, and I just want to know that it's really that easy.
It really is. It really is, because I've requested 2 policy loans during this first 5 months. The first policy loan I requested, it was in October. After 3 weeks.
So September
to October, after the 3 weeks period that the money had to clear. I requested my first policy loan equally to what I had in my cash values. Then I applied it to my first commercial loan.
So you had a loan balance, and then you're capturing that loan balance, outside loan balance too.
Yes.
Okay.
So it took me, once I got that money deposited in my bank account, it took me it was kind of a visual on my end. I was like, based on my income, how soon can I add velocity to my banking system.
Right.
So now, because what I discovered was every penny that I was paying back to the policy, it became available again. So it became like I was recycling the
30
money.
30 days. It's really about 30 calendar days generally.
Yes.
Pay a premium or a loan repayment. Then that value becomes available.
That value becomes available again for using for other things.
That was a whole, I mean, you can read it, you can hear it, you can think about it, but when you actually do it and see it and experience it, it's a whole nother level of understanding.
Yeah. Here's the thing. What the book does, it drives you, it gives you about 80% of your imagination. That's what it did to me.
Yeah.
It picks up your imagination because you see things that you never thought existed.
And then once you see them, you cannot unsee them.
You can't. And then you're like, now, how do I get this implemented? Now you go through the process, you get the system set up. Now you have the system. For me, it took 30 days to request my first policy loan. And then...
A man on a mission.
Yes. I'm still on a mission. Because,
absolutely.
Yeah. And then from October to February of 2022, all the money that I had paid back to the system, it became available fully. Except there was that small interest, but I don't mind.
You're paying interest, no question.
Yeah. I don't mind paying that interest because it is a mutual. It causes the profitability of the company, which I'm a co-owner. Then at the end of the year, it'll come back maybe in the form of dividends or maybe in the form of those interests. Because Nelson's in the book, he clearly said the POA will earn dividends and the base will also earn dividends and interest. So I saw that. If I'm a mutual owner, so what else do I need?
Yeah, well, your line of credit didn't come interest free.
No.
No, either truck came interest free.
Nah.
Right?
No.
You were paying somebody interest.
I'm paying somebody
directly.
interest.
Yeah. And how much was the interest you were paying them? Do you know? Do you remember the rates?
I'm paying 14%.
Oh, okay. 14%. The policy
on one
loans.
truck.
On one truck.
So think about 14% on one truck on 150,000 loan. It's huge.
That's a lot of money.
I was paying about, for the first 3 years, assuming from 2018 to today, I've paid about 30,000 in interest loan.
Is that ever going to come back to you?
It's gone forever.
Yeah.
It'll never come back.
Right.
So what I saw with this mutual dividend paying products, with the concept that Nelson is teaching, you get every penny returned back to you. So then you get to keep it for the generations to come. So let me focus on the financing side of it, because I think that is where the sweet spot is.
Okay.
And that is where the financial freedom really relies. Yeah. So you have ready access to capital on demand. So I request my second policy loan in February. So it is 2 months ago now. We just entered April. Mm-hmm. So I decreased my loan from October, when I chunked my first policy loan, to my commercial loan.
Right.
It decreased the whole balance down into 19,000 from 35, because I chunked it all in.
Right.
And then what I saw, I had to repay the policy loan as soon as possible, so that way I can have it available again to use it. So then it took me 4 months from October to February. Then I requested a second policy loan in the same amount. Here's the funniest part. From September to February, I already have 3 systems implemented. So I borrowed the small, the 16,800 that I had in my first policy, and then I also requested another policy loan from my wife's policy to fully come up with the entire balance that I owed to the commercial banks that financed it. That is how I was able to pay it off in 5 months. It blew my mind seeing that I can pay $50,000. Plus interest, it was $47,000. But I kind of killed the interest from accumulating because I ended up crashing it down in this short amount of time.
Right.
So what I saw, there is nothing like it in the entire financial world.
There is not.
Yes.
Can I ask what you did with the commercial loan? What did you borrow the money? What did you do with that? Was it just operating or repairs?
You see, in order to run my trucking business, I need both the tractor and the trailer attached together.
Right.
So all this and the trailer, it had to be financed with a different bank because the previous bank will make it so difficult for you to finance the whole truck.
Right.
Because the truck alone, without the trailer, it's not a thing. Right. It is just a sleeper.
Right.
So it took me having to connect the two equipment together in order to run the business.
Sure.
So for me, it was like, then I need to finance both. So I think it was 2020. First, remember from 2014 when I started out buying my first truck, I also needed another trailer. So I had saved a little bit. I bought my first trailer. It was so old, but it couldn't get the job done, but not so long. So I bought a used, expecting that in a few years I would need to replace it. So in 2020, that's when I had to. Then I had to go to another bank. I kept searching, improving my credit score. And then finally, I found another bank that can finance my second trailer.
At 14%.
14%. So you look, the truck was paying 14% and another 14% to my trailer. So you're looking about, I was paying about 28% total for both the truck and the trailer. So I was...
Yeah, but it's 14. You take the total amount of both loans and it's still 14% interest. So yeah, I got it. So,
and then I was like, how will I be able to recoup all this money? Because I was spending, for the trailer alone, I was spending about $9,800 per year.
Per year. Now we're talking about volume. So 14% interest by rate, but then the 9,800 by volume for whatever you paid. There's a difference between rates and volume.
And weights. So then I realized volume was killing me.
Yes.
I realized over the course of 5 years, because that's what the banks, when I was trying to get the trailer financed, I told them, as long as you can approve it, I just need the option to pay it off as sooner at any time when I need to. So I had that option. So what I did, I was like, I'm going to kill this interest as soon as I can and be able to pay off the trailer and own the trailer outright.
Right.
So basically, those two policy loans, that's what they did. I used my first policy loan. I chunked it to reduce the total balance on the debt. And then I waited another 4 months while I was repaying my policy loan and then requesting another policy loan to finally wipe it out. Now I own my trailer free and clear.
9,800 free cash flow.
Yes.
That's interest alone.
So, right? And then...
Which should be a premium, I'm just saying.
Yes. But, and then I saw it should be another premium. Mm-hmm. And then I called you. Yeah. I said, at the same time, the industry was booming again. I saw that I may end up making maybe $300,000 at the end of the year, gross income. So what I saw was I would be able to recoup all the money that I was flying away to the bankers. I was like, well, now this money I need to open up another policy to accommodate where the money needs to reside. Again, you see, it is this pieces that is kind of connecting from the education from the book. And then I was like, yeah, this money will be in my second policy. At the same time, it will be generating cash values again. And then I was like, yeah, it's time for another policy.
Perfect.
So it took me from going September, from getting my first policy, to February, having my family insured. So because I was like, yeah, now that I have our 4 kids, me and my wife, so we are 6, I was like, I'm going to make sure that everybody are buying.
That's a lot. You know, that's a lot of work, a lot of effort, and a lot of learning in 6 months, and then putting it actually to use and expanding your system to the family. So, I mean, that's a lot in a very short period of time.
It is.
Right. So doesn't that make you a little bit nervous or a little bit leery?
The only thing that got me nervous was when I was attempting to request my first policy loan, because it came face to face that I had to experience it. But once I did that, everything was like, what else?
So are you worried about future premiums on 6 policies? Are you concerned about that?
Not at all. Because here's the thing. When you read the book, Nelson will show that you will capitalize the system for 4 years to fully use the system.
That's what he did in equipment financing.
That's what he did. But we're talking about 20 years later, and there's all these changes in the economy. So, and I was like, if he refers to the First Bank of Midland in the 1990s.
In the 80s.
In the 80s. Yeah. That bank had been in existence for about 94 years.
Yeah.
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 So if these commercials can be in existence for 94 years, why not my family bank?
Right.
That is what I had seen. So I was like, now, as long as I have my reliable income and stable, I will capitalize my family bank system for the rest of my life.
Right. Well, the future's unknown.
The future's unknown.
Your income's not guaranteed. You're self-employed. You're responsible for all of the repairs and the capitalization of the equipment.
It continues to make itself apparent. Right. So I said, I will capitalize until the day God calls me. Yeah. That's how simple it is. Where else can you go to request, like you have money available on demand? Even let's assume I even capitalize the system for even the first 7 years. Think about if I can use even my first policy, how much can I be able to achieve? Because I'm always growing, I'm always expanding.
Right.
I need mortgages, I need a place to live.
Another truck.
I need another car.
A couple of other trailers.
Another trailers. And now actually what the concept had done to me, it showed me that my trucking business is going to be successful. Right. Because all that money that I had been paying to the bankers, I will use it to pay my employees. And at the same time, I will first capitalize, buy the equipment first, pay them off, and then hire.
Yeah. Well, and to be clear, in equipment financing, Nelson illustrates in illustration number 1, and there's 6 illustrations there, but in illustration number 1, he capitalized for 4 years.
Yes.
All right. And then in illustration number 2, he starts financing a truck, Peterbilt, every 4 years.
Yeah.
So there's actually premium being paid.
Yeah.
Right. And in illustration number 2, that's financing a truck. Illustration number 3, there's more financing, then more financing, then more financing. The premiums are being paid, but
I saw how he dropped the PUA, and he also was using the dividends because you see the amount when he dropped the PUA, it was there, but maybe about 50% of it, of the entire PUA premium, but you continue to see how the system was growing.
Yeah.
Later on, all the money that he lost when he dropped the PUA, later on it became available. But I also saw that he said the reason he shows that is that people do not think that policy loans is the only way to use the concept.
Right.
You can also use the concept, but by dropping the PUA. But if you understand the importance of capitalization, and you also understand that your need for finance far exceeds your need for insurance, maybe like your death benefit, why drop it when you do not have to?
Right.
So what I learned was, only if I have to, I can. But as long as I'm still healthy, I can work and get paid. Why do that? But I just see that as an option, should I ended up having to. But I also realized that now that I already capitalized 6 systems so far, there's no need to drop the PUA because my other systems will be supporting my need. Whatever the needs arise.
No, the premium. You want to pay premium, but you got to be able to maintain control of your policies, just like any other asset.
Yeah.
And so you got to have a bit of flexibility because the future is unknown.
Yes.
But as long as you have cash flows, right, your money's like everybody else's money. It needs a place to reside.
Yeah.
And it should be residing in an asset that you own and control.
Yeah.
Instead of the third-party lenders.
The only thing that kind of put in my heart was, this information is still private to the public.
Yeah.
How are we going to make sure that people can read that book? Because the moment you read it, you fully understand it. I do not claim to know everything, of course, because I every time I read it, I discover something that I did not know before. But the reason I keep reading it, it's the wisdom packed in it.
Yeah.
So I'm like, now outside of running my business, I also saw that in less than 1 year, 2022, as we speak, by the end of the year, I'll be able to pay off my mortgage.
Really?
I already seen it. So now that is what I'm trending. Just using even my first policy alone. All I need is just capitalize, request policy loans, pay them back. Like he said, do not steal the peas. That's it. Once I can be a good banker, request policy loans, repaying them with interest, just like bankers will do. They put values to their money. So when I have my banking system, I want to behave like the way they behave.
Sure.
At my family bank. I think that it can't get any easier than that.
It's very simple. It's extremely simple. But you do have to have the discipline, and you've had, your story, your history, it shows, it demonstrates that you have discipline. So nothing in the financial world works without personal discipline, in my opinion. Right. So you have to have discipline. But whenever you go through a near bankruptcy or bankruptcy, when you're beholden to the third party lender, it's a complete awakening. It's a real shift in your thinking.
It really does. I've attempted to share this concept to my parents, and my dad said, that's for young people. I was like, now that I did not know a lot of it, or those on how to best deliver the concept to him, I was like, maybe the way I presented it was not the way I was supposed to do it. Another mistake on my own. But I've shared the concept with 2 people at my church. I actually had been buying this book to give it away for free.
Sure.
So that at least those closest to me can at least know what I'm doing and what the book has done to me alone. The financial stress that it alleviated from my thinking, it's priceless. There's no price on it. And not only that, my family will never have to see the banks, because I already told them, whenever you need to come to buy a car, you come to the family bank. Whenever you want to buy a house, we will see how much do we have in our family bank. Because I don't call them my policy. I call them the family bank. Why? Because it is the source that we're gonna need to go to finance all the things that we need to finance. And this need to finance things is there to every human being. You can't run away from it. It is there.
Right.
So you want to solve that, use your own family bank.
I can't agree more.
Yeah. So I've shared this concept to some of the truckers. Mm-hmm. I've also met them by the book. Yeah. So I don't know if they read it or not, but I've done that. And I told them, if you read that book, not only that it will change your life, it will also change the generations behind you. So for me coming here to share what I know so far about this concept, it is my desire. I'm feeling obligated to share this concept to the general public. I never know who's going to help, but I have high hope that it will.
Right.
Because people are financing mortgages, and I realize most of them, they'll never be able to afford a house. But with this concept, you can. So when Nelson says the infinite banking concept is an exercise in reasons, prophecy, an exercise in reasons, imagination, reasons, logic,
and prophecy. Yeah.
That clearly tells me that the only limitation is just you.
Right between your ears. That's what limits us all, though.
Yeah.
And imagination is the most important.
It really is. Yeah. So for me, all the things that I thought was impossible, all the financing opportunities that I had tried to do, and the financing capabilities, it was kind of there, but I didn't understand that is what it was. And I saw the problem. I also saw the solution. I saw that now the sky is the limit. And that is why I feel like we need to share this concept. It is not that.
Those are very natural. The first, you want to share with the people that you love and you care about. That's very natural. And then the feeling of obligation, I think that's very natural too, that you want everyone to know. I mean, those are very natural.
Yeah.
I've seen them throughout the years. I mean, I experienced them.
And I have one choir master. He leads the choir at our church. So last week, she came to my, I've known her for the last, I think, 12 years. She's so kind and generous. She has a heart to serve God's people. Yeah. I felt obligated to share what I had done so far with the concept. I took her to my banking partners. I was like, I don't mind sharing what I know. Yeah. So I shared. I opened up to my Lafayette system. I showed them, you see, I don't have any money in my savings account. I don't. Why should I? Every penny that I put in my savings, it is creating this pool of money for the bankers to lend to their own benefit. But when I do this to my own family bank, all the benefits are close to my own interest. So I told them successful people don't have a savings account. She said, she also had a mortgage that she had been paying for 18 years because they came here back in 1998. So assuming, I think, between 2001 and 3, that's when they got their first bank mortgage. I asked her, have you paid off your mortgage? All this time, she said no. And I asked, Do you know why? She said, all the money that we were paying was going to the interest. And I said, this system will put you in a position to pay off your house no more than 5 to 7 years. If you truly practice the infinite banking concept as taught in the book. I've showed her the book. I've showed her what I had done in the first 5 months. I told her, if you cannot do this for yourself, please do this for your kids. Mm-hmm. You may not understand the power behind it, but at least just do it anyway. That's what I said.
Listen, we need to wrap up. So,
yes,
you have any like parting comments or?
The only comment that I can say: people need to wake up to this concept. Let fear go. Read the book, watch the videos, and then take action. There's nothing to lose. It is a stress-free way of life. That is what I can share.
I love that. Listen, Damascene, thank you so much for coming in and sharing with us. I think you're a fascinating young man. You have a fascinating story. You got a heart of gold. And I appreciate you taking the time to come and share. Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much. Let's keep the mission going. Let's impact more people. Let's change lives.
Perfect.
Because they need it.
They do need it.
Yes. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you. Thanks for listening. I hope you enjoyed. I know I had fun, and you had fun. You've been smiling the whole time. You've had fun.
All the time. Yeah, you can't keep it to yourself. It's impossible.
You're right.
Thank you for joining us on the Banking with Life podcast. If you're watching on YouTube, make sure to like and subscribe and click on that little notification bell. Otherwise, join us on Apple Podcasts and Stitcher for weekly content.